Today, we're diving into a topic that affects so many people, from those who are recovering from injuries to seniors who are concerned about balance. Whether you just want to enjoy a day at the ballpark or feel confident moving through your daily life, maintaining good balance is key. And here to help us understand how we can improve our balance and overall wellness are doctors of physical therapy Brittany Cheney and clinical director Brian Muff from Physical Therapy and Balance Centers. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
So, Brittany, let me start with you. Can you explain how the vestibular system affects our balance and why it's so important?
Yeah, sure. So first, I think we should be aware that there are three main systems of balance. So vision is often people's primary source of balance. When you're balancing, you may notice it's easier if you find a point to fixate on, or it becomes a lot harder if you close your eyes. The body system, so our muscles, joints, sensors in the body that kind of tell the body how to adjust to any changes in balance are super important. And things like weakness, pain, side-to-side sensation changes, all of that can impact your balance. And then finally, the vestibular system is our inner ear network. It communicates with the brain to kind of tell you how your head is moving and make sure that you feel normal moving your head. It also works closely with the vision system to make sure your gaze is focused and stable as you move your head.
Wow.
So any changes with that will obviously make you feel like your equilibrium is off and just not so great about your balance in general.
We have a lot going on here when it comes to our balance. Well, Brian, let me ask you, what really sets Physical apart when it comes to helping patients with their balance and maybe gait issues?
One of the things is we have some specialized balance equipment. We have something called a safety overhead support, and what it can do is it's a full body harness that is attached to a rail system with a trolley. So we got a really nice piece of equipment. On top of that, all of our clinicians are trained to really assess and diagnose those three different sensory systems that Brittany just spoke about. Along with that, we also do all one-on-one care. So kind of the combination of having specialized balance equipment, having clinicians that are trained, and on top of being able to have that direct supervision with the patient throughout the session, those three things put together really give us optimal care for the patients.
Wow. So, Brittany, let me ask you then, what are some common signs that someone might need vestibular rehabilitation or balance therapy?
So a pretty common symptom that patients will mention is dizziness, but that can mean something different to everybody. So it's a wide spectrum of things. So usually when I have a patient in the clinic that says I'm dizzy, I'll refer to the chart we have up on the screen and ask them to read over it and tell me what resonates with their symptoms. So it could be room spinning type dizziness, which is often considered vertigo, lightheadedness, like wooziness, or just feeling like vision is a little sensitive. The feeling that you're wobbly on your feet is a pretty common one. And then more behavioral dizziness, so like anxiousness or fear of falling, that can lead to guarded movement, creating a risk for losing your balance. And then lastly, motion sickness, so nausea and just feeling like your tummy's upset can definitely be a symptom of dizziness. Those type of things are all signs that you may need balance or vestibular therapy.
So, Brian, I know you mentioned Physical's safety overhead support system. How can that help patients overcome their fear of maybe falling during therapy?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have a lot of patients that come into us with that fear of falling, and having that safety overhead support system really gives us a safe environment to challenge the patient. Now, having that safety overhead support, it's not going to do anything to kind of take the body weight away, but what it does is it prevents falls. If they were to fall throughout therapy, there's no way of getting injured. On top of that, having that trolley system with the rail system it really allows for free movement, allows us to take the patient, we can walk with the patient in the gym, we're allowed to work on their functional activities and really challenge them in ways that with the traditional gait belt that we wouldn't be able to do.
Wow, this is all really interesting, guys. So if somebody's watching this, where are you located and how can people connect with you?
So there are currently 7 physical locations in the greater Cincinnati area, and then even one in Kentucky. So you can give your closest physical a call and we can get you set up for a screen or appointment. You can also go online. There's a locations tab and then you can search for your closest physical. That way you know you're going to the one nearest you.
Well, that sounds great. Nice having all these different options here, too. And before we go, Brian, can you tell us a little bit, too, about your journey with Physical?
Yeah, so my journey actually started when I was a student here in Cincinnati. I went to Mount St. Joseph University for physical therapy school. One of my clinical rotations I got paired with was Physical. So right out of the gate, I kind of got a look at a bunch of different clinics, and I saw that physical, I really resonated with physical. So out of school, I accepted a full-time position. I became a staff PT, kind of worked my way up into management. And through that time, my passion for treating vestibular, vertigo, all different types of dizziness really grew. But I was working in Florida at the time. So that's one of those things where I really wanted to get back to home, which is Cincinnati, get closer to the family, get closer to the friends. And one of the reasons I chose to become an owner with Physical was just kind of their holistic approach. I really like the patient-centered approach and being able to treat patients one-on-one. And on top of that, as I know that we're primarily known for our balance and our vestibular rehab, but I really like treating all the different neurological and orthopedic conditions as well, kind of that wide variety. And lastly, having that ability to really expand the physical network in Cincinnati to kind of allow as much access as we can for patients and to give them the best care that we can.
All right. Well, Brittany, Brian, we appreciate you both being here today. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.